This whole approach has been what? What's the title of our class?
Intimacy.
Okay, but building blocks for intimacy. Because there is a process. There's a plan. There's a way. Intimacy is something that's achievable, but what's it going to take? What's it going to cost?
Everything.
Okay, all. So if people say, look, you should surrender. That's a vague concept. That's a big word. What does that mean? Surrender. All. Well, how many facets of us are there? How many pieces or components?
4.
4. And they are
Heart, body, mind, soul.
heart, soul,
Mind,
and strength. So if you wanted to give all, that's your focus. If you have 4 components and you had to give all, then you would have to give in all 4 of those levels to attain what? Intimacy. So if you're not willing, just be honest, just say, you know what, my heart isn't in this, then don't expect more. You're going to reap what you sow. Don't be mad at people when you don't have any friends. You didn't engage. You didn't care. You with me? You saw people down in the ditch and you walked by on the other side. So don't be surprised nobody shows up at your funeral. You go in the hospital, nobody calls. Right? Why? Because there's people in the hospital today. Did you go visit? There's people in prison. Did you write a letter? Did you pray? There were people everywhere you went today. Did you engage? Did you ask them about their life? What's going on? If you don't, then what can you expect? The same. So people say, you know what, I believe I have a soulmate out there somewhere. Well, if you wanted to connect on a level like you're wanting and desiring, which is intimacy, we're all created for it. We're built for it. But how many are ever going to find it in a lifetime? I think most people will live and die and never experience intimacy. That's my conclusion. I think most people, you say, I just want one intimate friend. Most of you will never have one. And it's not because there's not some people walking around on this planet that could do that with you. But you can't have an intimate friend if you're not intimate yourself. Because they don't want you. I'm sorry to have to step on your toes and disappoint you. But if you go around all the time thinking shallow and acting shallow and giving about that much when you got that much to give, if you want to tithe on Sunday instead of jump in the collection plate when it goes around, I'm waiting for the day somebody just sits on the floor and stands in it. Why? Because that's what's being asked of us. Not a contribution, but a sacrifice. Now, if you say, well, my heart's scared, well, there you go. You live with your own scared heart, but you're going to find scared-hearted people to be your friends. But you see how it works. This demands all. And so if you ever hope to attain it, the only way you're going to get there is what do you have to do with this body of yours? What are we going to have to do on the physical side? What is the physical sacrifice that we must make if we're going to have intimacy with God?
You love the world.
Okay, our love for things, for people, places, and things. That's the tangible life experience. I was just talking with Candace over there. I know people that love their car, they love their motorcycle, they love their bank account more than they love people. They love their pet. They love that cat, they love that dog. That's an awesome dog. And they'll just pet the dog, you walk in, they bite you. That's a problem. What's that indicate? You are in love with the wrong things.
Yeah. Amen.
And if you're having trouble loving, except those things that are all physical and tangible, and you're not spiritual enough to go love God more than you love all that, that's a problem. You follow me? So what do we have to do with all that? We got to put it in its place. You got a house, you got a car, you got a truck, you got a pet, you got a mate, you got money, anything that you can touch or taste or feel or smell or experience, and you've got to put that second. You follow me? Why? Because we want intimacy with God. Will He have any other gods before Him? Is he a jealous God?
Yes.
Well, there you go. You better learn to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and body, or you will never experience intimacy. You see how it works? So that's the body. What about the mind? What's he want to do with this head of mine?
Change it.
Change it.
Want to cleanse it.
Cleanse it. He wants to renew it.
Renew our minds that we.
And so what's he going to change in our thinking? What's he doing here in renewing this mind? What's he going to set it on? Things above. You become Christ-like in your thinking. The mind of Christ. How did he think? Well, let's just take the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Oh, wait a minute, that's crazy. No. Those people are humble. What's going to happen with them? They'll inherit it. What about the pure in heart? Well, I'll be dang. I've been holding grudges. I got issues. I've been cussing people and judging them and criticizing them. You mean to tell me that's blocking my relationship with God? Newsflash. Newsflash. Yes. Why? Because your heart should be pure. That's the mind of Christ. He's thinking on things above, not things of this world. So that mind of yours, if it's all polluted, if you argue with God about everything, what is the natural mind? The carnal mind is what? Is death. And it's enmity toward God. Why? God tells you, go over there and drop everything, sell everything, give it to the poor and follow me. And you argue. That's a problem. What does God expect when he gives us instruction, guidance? When he wakes you up in the night and he tells you what to do, what's he expect of us? Obedience. Do you know to delay is to disobey? Don't pass go, don't collect who run. God said, do it, that's what you do. See, that's changing our mind. If your mind quits arguing with God, and the only words in your vocabulary with him should be, yes, Lord. Now he'll be drawn to you. If you draw near to God, what will you do? Draw near you. You're on the way. Why? Because you let him change your mind. Okay, what about the heart? Let me go back through this right here. You remember I did this 2 weeks ago. This represents the tabernacle. The tabernacle has two components here. You have the holy place and the most holy place. So it's a rectangular tent. Okay? So outside you've got the outer court. Then you've got the inner court and the inmost court. But you've got the holy place and the most holy place. And what separates the two? The veil. So I just take this and I show you what God's trying to do here in the heart, soul, mind, and body. So your body is the outer court. That's what people see. That's your visible piece, right? Okay? But now I have sacred pieces. I have pieces of me you can't see. Now you're getting closer to me. Well, go start right there with the mind. What the battlefield, what goes between these ears right here, what goes on in there. That's a holy place. What if I fill that mind with negative thoughts and impure thoughts? What if I have hate? And what if I have those things and I'm focused on that in my mind? Then I've got problems in the tabernacle over here. How spiritual can I be when my holy place is polluted?
Yeah.
So what do we have to do with these thoughts that come in there and wrestle in our heads about, is there a God? And you know, all that stuff. What do we do with that? What's Corinthians tell us? What's Paul tell us to do? Take it captive. But look here, I want you to look at this. This veil is your heart. This is where most people are stuck. And I'm talking about Christians. Oh, I go to church, Pastor. Oh, I know, I see you sitting there. Well, my mind, you know, I read my scripture every day. I've been having quiet time for 2 straight months. I hadn't missed one Sunday, one day in 2 months. Well, good for you. But here's what I want to talk about. Well, what do you mean that heart's the veil? Okay, right there. If you are unwilling to allow God to have full access to your heart, do you know what you're blocking access to ultimately? Your soul. And you think God's really all that interested in your body or your mind or your heart. At the end of the day, what part of you is like Him? What part of you lives forever? That's what he's after. He wants to be behind the wheel. He wants to be in the cockpit. He doesn't need a co-pilot. He wants to be your pilot. There's only one seat in this room right here. That's the altar. And that's your life. That's your wheel. What's he after? All of me for all of him. Now, why can't I get more spiritual? Some people sit in church, they can't clap, they can't smile, they can't raise their hands, they can't dance, they can't feel. And though this is a religious experience, you're going through routines. You say, well, God feels so distant to me. That's what I'm talking about. When the word's brought forth, when there's a testimony being given, when a life's been changed, when, heaven's sake, shouldn't we be able to shout?
Yes.
Shouldn't we be able to rejoice? And if somebody's tore up and somebody's in a hurt place, shouldn't I be able to feel their pain? Yes, and go over there and do what?
Pray for them.
Pray for them and minister to them. How many people stand and sit in church? Dear God, what does that indicate? There's a heart problem. And that heart is as you stuck and you do everything in life, sort of. Guess how you're going to do God? Sort of. See, if you let this heart, if you don't let that heart open up and let God have all that heart, then you can't truly have a spiritual experience with God. You see what's going on? Wow, you got a veil. And what's God want to do with that veil? What did he do with the veil? He tore it in two. What was the message as a result? Jesus hangs on the cross, the veil's torn. What's that say to the world? Man, you're welcome in my presence. And guess what? Not only is man allowed in, but God's allowed out. Praise God. See, I get it. It's hard to laugh about many things, but things about like that tickle me. God's out. Now what does that mean? It's forever different. Now we don't have to go on the mountains and worship. We don't have to go get a high priest to go slaughter a bull here and pray for 364 days, so one day a year we got access to him. How often do we have access now?
All the time.
Call on the name of Jesus. Look at this. I mean, isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And so that's in a bigger spiritual sense of what's going on. But what I'm trying to show you, it's happening every day in your life or not. You're either experiencing God or you're not. This has nothing to do with the church building and what day of the week it is, or what kind of service we had, or how good the drummers were Sunday, or how good the word was Sunday. No, this isn't the responsibility of other people. This is your personal responsibility to pursue what? Intimacy with God. And if every person had intimacy with God and we came in to the worship sanctuary, what would happen? Well, the Spirit is already there in advance. Wow, He came with me. Now, oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. Pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary. Now, see, you're sitting there thinking, well, that's the priest's duty. Oh, my goodness. Bless your heart. I'm going to pray for you. See, he took that old covenant and he destroyed that. He fulfilled it. You got a high priest. But something you need to know about, you are a priest. And that means you have a duty. And what's your duty? To serve at the altar. So it doesn't really matter how people treat you at this point. You're not too good for that. You're not above it. You know? What is this about now? This is just me and God. And so how are you doing in that journey right there? if you're struggling right here, just take inventory where you're at in this deal. Say, you know what? This is my problem. I'm too in love with animals and money and dreams and ambitions, and I have a bucket list that's a mile long. George and I saw a rainbow today. Okay. But I tell you what, it's like some people said, their luck's so bad at the end of the rainbow is a pot of gold, but there's a tax collector settling. And I can tell you, if you got everything you wanted in your heart, you still wouldn't be happy. Physical things cannot meet spiritual needs. You have a God-shaped void in you. You were created to worship. You're not born to get rich. Pity the man. Because rich people have a hard time getting to heaven. Why? Because even if they have a bunch, what do they want? More. And don't you think for a minute I ain't talking to you, because you're an American. And you're in the top, what, 2% of the world's population tonight just because you're in this room. So, well, Pastor, I'm poor. You're not poor. You're not hungry. You're not starving. You're not homeless. I don't care how bad you think it is. It could be worse.
Man.
We need to get over ourselves. And this is what we talk about when we talk about this body. Quit storing up treasure on earth. Because where your treasure is, there where your heart is. Matt's got that new bike. Thank you guys. I think that's awesome. Y'all going together and buying that for that boy. That's a cool thing. Talk about a lock on that thing, right? So nobody takes it. Here's the thing you got to always be concerned about when you love things. Things die. Things get stolen. Moths and thieves break in and steal that. You put locks on it. You put locks on it, but it can still be stolen. And what happens if that's your love and it gets stolen? Then your heart's sick. You can love people, but you better love God more. Why? People die. People have moods. People have attitudes. There's no such thing as a soulmate. At the end of the day, they're flawed human beings. See, and I'm just trying to help you. Why? Well, we put too much attention on this world, hadn't we? Where did we get that? Well, it's part of our carnal makeup. Right? And so what do we have to do with that old carnal self? That's right. Crucify him. So see, it has nothing to do with possessions. But you can have many things, and it does help. Believe me. You say, Pastor, you're over there talking about money. That's because I got 4 letters in the mail today and 10 on my desk. I ain't looking for money. I'm rich. I am blessed. I'm highly favored. I don't complain about things in my life. I'm a pastor trying to help thousands with $1.25. It's like, Vincent, we talked about this today. So look, I want you to see it like this. Now let's come back to the Spirit. And so what is this soul place? If you will surrender everything you have to God and say, God, look here. Here's my mortgage. Well, mortgages would be a sacrifice. Here's the deed. Here's the deed and the title. Yeah, we'd love to give up our mortgage. So, no, you're giving God what is to your profit, not your junk. If you say, well, I'll just quit smoking, that isn't doing anything for God. In fact, let me just remind you, you'll never do anything for God. He owns a cattle on 1,000. But you give everything you got, and physically, you take this mind, say, God, renew my mind. You take this heart, I forgive everybody for everything they've done. This is going to open you up to a spiritual experience. And what is a spiritual experience? That's when in your soul now, you and God hug. You hug in your soul.